This is the Roulette Master, and I have a groundbreaking new roulette system to share with you today. This is called the Gravity Trap by Todd Hoover, and if you start using this, he says you will start winning regularly in the casino. So let's give it a shot and place the bets, and all you have to do to start out is pick a column. So let's pick third column for $10 and spin, and then I'll share with you how this works as we go through. And it's a really safe strategy that protects your bankroll. That's a 32, and that's a loss. And when you lose, the first thing that you do is you place 6 split bets on the columns that you're not betting on. And they're going to start at $2 each. And again, there's 6 of them. And here we go. Let's get those out there. That gives us a $22 total bet. And let's spin. If we hit the column and not the splits, we have a $2 loss, but we just take that loss. That's what happened right there. So we're going to go ahead and... in that case, we're going to go ahead and just restart. So let's go ahead and pick a new column. We'll pick second column for 10 and spin. So we're just at -2 right now, and that's no big deal. We'll make some profit here momentarily, and that's a 2 black, and that's a nice win. So now we're up 18. Let's pick second column again here. Let's see if it gets hot. And here we go. All right. That's a 14 red. Fantastic, and we're up $38. And let's go one more time on second column. And then once we have losses, I'll share with you how this progression works. It goes forward and backward, and that's a 21 red. Okay, we lost. So we pick the other 2 columns, and we put $2 on 6 splits. Here we go. Missed that one. We put that on there right. $22 total bet, and let's spin. Okay, that's a 24 black, and we got the win. So all right, we're up $42, and we're going to restart, and we're going to put the $10 on. Let's do first column for 10 and spin. And here we go. That's a 35 black. I should have stayed on that second column, but we lost that one, so let's go ahead and place those bets. And here we go, $2 on each. Just make sure you're not on the column that you have the big bet on, and let's spin. All right, here we go. Let's see what we get here. That's a 25 red. Okay, and again, we lost $2, but that's okay. We're up 40. We restart, and that's what makes this system so safe. It does have small setbacks. Let's go first column for 10. But once we have multiple losses, you'll see how this system goes forward and backwards and what the progression is. And that's a loss. So we'll place our $2 bets on the other 2 columns. Here we go. Okay, the $22 total bet. And let's see if we can hit one of those split bets on this one and pick up some profit. That's a 13 black. Okay, we lost $2 with that, even though we won 8, we're up 38. But we just take that and continue on. Let's see, we'll go third column this time for 10. But he says don't worry about those $2 losses. In the big picture, it's not a big deal. And that's an 18 red. All right, $20 win. We're up 58. And let's go second column again and see what we get here. See if we can get one of my favorite numbers here. That's a 16 red. We did not get a win there. And let's go ahead and we will add the 6 $2 bets to the other 2. And actually, we need to go to the low side. Todd likes to go to the side that just hits. So let's go ahead and switch to that other side. And just make sure you don't put them on the same one that you have the big bet on. So the other 2, oh, I put one too many on there. Let's go ahead and spin. We're at $22 total bet, and here we go. This is the Gravity Trap by Todd Hoover, and that's a 20 black. Okay, I lost $2 there, no big deal. We're at 56. We go ahead and place our next bet, and let's see if second column will hit again. He says you can pick whichever one you want. And you'll get to see the rest of this progression once we have multiple losses. There's a loss right there, so we might be heading in that direction. Let's put our $2 bets out there, but it hit the low side, so let's go to the low side. And we'll be on the other two columns. And let's spend $22 total bet. And here we go. Okay, that's a 36 red. And we lost that one. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to clear out the bets. And we're going to go from 10 to 30 on that column and spin. So we're going to get rid of the split bets momentarily. And that's a 25 red. Okay, here's the way we get our next bets. We take the first number on the column bet, which is 3. And we're going to go ahead and take 3 times 2 is 6. So we're going to have $6 bets now over here. And it looks like they'll be on the high side this time, though, because the 25 hit. So let's go ahead and do that. So $6 on each. And let's spend. And here we go. So we were at 30 on the column, and then we added those in. That's a 1 red. And we lost. So it's time to get to the next bet, and we get rid of the splits temporarily. We're going to go $30 to $50. And here we go. And let's spin at 50. And then once we get a win, we probably won't be in session profit, and I'll share with you how that works and what you do. Okay, we lost at 50, so we take 5 times 2, which is $10. And then that makes our split bets $10, and we're on the high side. So we're going to do 6 $10 bets. Okay, 110 total, and let's spin. All right, this is the Gravity Trap by Todd Hoover. And that's a $40 win there, but we did not hit the column. We hit the column bet, but not the splits there. So this is what happens now. If you go ahead and you get the win, and you're not in session profit, which you can see we're not, you just go in reverse. So you see we were at 50. That means we go back to a $30 bet, and let's go third column for 30. So we don't restart if the bets are higher than than 30, and that's a 35 black, and we lost that one. So we take 3 times 2 is 6, and we place some $6 bets out there. Let's do that. Again, just make sure these are not on the same column as the big bet on the edge there, and let's spin. That's a 10 black. Another loss. Okay, so we're going to get rid of the splits, and we're going to increase from 30 to 50 using Fibonacci on the column bet. So let's spin at 50. Here we go. That's a 14 red. And we lost, so now we take 5 times 2, which is 10, and we'll have $10 bets on those splits. And let's see if we can get things going here. Oh, we need to be on the low side, though. He says to stay on the side that hit last. So let's do that. Oh, I put them on the wrong ones. Don't make that mistake. Make sure they're not on the ones, not on the column that the main bet is on. So let's go ahead and spin, and here we go. Then we'll check our balance here. That's an 8 black. Okay, that's a $70 win. We're at minus 158, and when you get a win with this, you go in reverse. So we were at 50, we're going to go back to 30, and let's go first column for 30 and spin. And here we go. Okay, that's a 33 black, and that's a loss. So we take 3 times 2 is 6, and we place our 6 bets out there. And this is a really safe system. That's why it's taken us a little time to come back here. But it's all about not losing your bankroll. So let's go ahead, and you can see we're at minus 188. Let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. That's a 28 black. That's a $24 win there. We're going to go ahead and since we didn't win, we're not going to go back in the progression. In fact, I just realized I think I made a mistake before. When we got the win at 50, it wasn't a win. It was a loss because we hit the column. So we should have stayed at 50. So we need to go back up to 50. That's why we're still down at 164. So let's go back to 50 and we'll make sure we get that right this time. So I was thinking of those as wins, which means you go back in the progression. But if you hit the column, not the splits, you stay at the same bet. And there's a good one there. But we're at minus 64. And again, that was at 50. And we did get a win there. So now we go back to 30. So keep that in mind. That's a good learning lesson there. If you get a win on the column but not on the splits, it's not actually a win. So you don't go back in the progression. You only go back in the progression when you pick profit up. Okay, so we're getting close to being back in profit here now. We'll go 30 back to 10. And so we're back at base level. Let's see if we can get this going. If I hadn't made that mistake, we'd be more in profit right now. So this is one you definitely want to practice so that you don't make that mistake. And that's a nice $20 win. Okay, now we're back up again. So let's go 10-second column and spin. And let's see if we can finish up strong now. So you only go in reverse with the bets if it's an actual win, which would mean a split win, not a column win. Okay, we're up $36 now. We'll go third column and spin. And use the Fibonacci, which is 10, 30, 50, 80, 80, adding up your two previous bets for your next bet. So again, after 80, you would go 130, 210, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we're up $56. Let's go second column for 10. You can pick any column you want. And let's finish strong with this now that we got rid of that error there. And that's a loss. So we'll place our $2 bets on those splits. Okay, $22 total, and here we go. All right. That's a 23 red. Okay, that's an $8 win. And that's an example of one where you wouldn't go backwards in the progression because you hit the column, not the splits. You only go backwards in the progression when you hit the splits. Okay, so we're going to restart, and we'll go first column this time and spin. And here we go. Let's see if we can get our profits up, and that's an 8 black. Okay, we lost that one, so we'll add $2 to each of those splits. And spin at $22 total bet. And Todd says it's really difficult to lose your bankroll with this one. And that's another one of those ones that hits the column and not the split. So if the bets were higher than 10, we wouldn't go backwards in the bet. So, but since we're at 10 on the bets, then it's okay. So let's do third column this time and spin. Again, you take $2 losses each time you hit that column without hitting the split bets. And there we go. There's a $20 win. We're up 72. All right, let's go 10 on second column now and spin. See if we can get the 17 or the 20. I don't think so. It's going toward the 16 red. And we lost, so let's go ahead and add those $2 bets in. And again, the way you figure these bets is when you're at $10 bet, you take the first number in the number 10, which is 1, and you take it times 2. That's why these are $2 bets. Okay, in the next one, you're going to 30 with Fibonacci, so you would take 3 times 2. And the next one, it'd be 5 times 2. The next one, it'd be 8 times 2. The next one, it'd be 13 times 2. So you're using the beginning numbers in the Fibonacci sequence to figure out that bet, and then it gets really easy to figure it out. So we lost that one, so we're going to go 10 to 30 and get rid of the splits temporarily. Okay, and spin. Okay, here we go. All right, that's a 31 black, and we lost. So 3 times 2 is 6. So that means we put $6 bets out there. Just like that. And again, the next ones after this would be 5 times 2 is 10. All right, so you just take the first number in the bet on the column, take it times 2, and that is where you're at. That's a nice $42 win. We're at 52. Now, if we had got that win on the column, we wouldn't go in reverse. But since we got the win on the split, we do go in reverse. So you see it was at 30, so we go back to 10. Okay, so don't make the mistake I did earlier of getting a win on the column and regressing with the bet. Keep the bet the same if you do that because it's not actually a win. And we're up $72 now. We'll go first column. And here we go. That's a 4 black. There we go. Now we're up $92. We'll go third column. And Todd was really trying to create a system that wouldn't lose its bankroll. And this is a $1,000 bankroll system. Let's see what we get here. That's a loss. So we'll go ahead and add our $2 bets in. 1 times 2, the first number in the column, times 2. Which again, the next time we do this would be 3 times 2, then 5 times 2, then 8 times 2, and so on and so forth. And the way you get those Fibonacci bets is adding up your 2 previous bets for your next bet. So 3 plus 2, 5 plus 3, so on and so forth. So we lost that one, and you can see we were at 10. So now it's going to go to $30 without the splits. And here we go. Okay, that's a 29 black. And we lost. So now we take 3 times 2 is 6. And we add those in. Okay, that dropped us to $30 temporarily until we get a hit here. That's a 17 black. And we missed it. So actually, we should have went to the low side there, actually, and we would have won that one. So that's another thing. So make sure, that's not a must, but his preference is, Todd Hoover's preference is to go, no, we did that right. We went from the 29 to the high side because the 17 hit after that. Okay, never mind. We did that correctly. So you can see we were at 30. We're going to go to 50 now. And get rid of the splits temporarily. And here we go. I was second guessing myself there. That's a 33 black. That's a nice $100 win. We're up 64. And then you just go in reverse in the progression because we did get a win. But again, don't be mistaken. If you get those partial losses, don't go down the progression. So then we just go down to a $30 bet. And let's go first column. And we need to work our way back down. That's a 32 red, and that's a loss. So 3 times 2 is 6. Then you just add $6 bets on the splits. And this is definitely one you need to practice. So make sure you practice this one before taking it to the casino. And let's spin. Okay, $66 total bet, and here we go. That's a 1 red. That's, again, one of those ones you never go in reverse on because we hit the column. So if that happens, you just leave the bet the same and spin again. So, but we do need to move those bets. You can see and they're at 6 each. Oh, but he says when you always get rid of the splits if you get a hit. So that means we just go back to 30 and we pick a new column and then spin. And here we go. And those are real small partial losses on those if you hit the column. Okay, we lost that one. So we'll go 3 plus 2 is 6. Now we'll add them back in. And here we go. Oh, we need to go to the low side this time though, because we hit the 13. And again, that's just his personal preference. You don't have to do that, but that's the way that Todd plays it. Okay, let's spin. And let's see what we get here. That's a 23 red. Okay, we hit the column again. That's a perfect example of when not to go in reverse. So we have to keep the bet where it is at 30. And let's see, that hit, let's go right here and spin. That's an 8 black. That's a $60 win. Now we're up $112. So, okay. So I made a few mistakes early on, and we corrected those. The first one was, make sure that when you pick the split bets, you go to the side that hit last. The other thing was on one of those, we went back in the progression when we hit the column, not the splits. You only go in reverse in the progression when you hit the splits. That's because when in recovery, when you have columns and splits, the column bet is a small loss, not a win. So don't move back in the progression if that happens. And thank you, Todd Hoover, for sending this in. And let everyone know in the comments if you have anything you want to add to this. I'm sure you do, and that would be fantastic. So hope you guys are enjoying the channel. If you are, please like, share, and subscribe. And now it is time for the Blast from the Past video for today. Let's jump right into that and get started. And I hope you're enjoying those. Here we go. This is the Roulette Master, and I just received an email from two of my subscribers, Grant and Linda. They were at a brick and mortar casino last night, and they said they were sitting at a table with a lady that was winning more than they've ever seen before. And you're not going to believe this, but they said that after 30 minutes of play, the lady had won so much playing roulette that the casino asked her to leave. And I guess there was a big scene, and she said she was playing fair, but they kicked her out anyway. That's a pretty amazing story, and I can't wait to share with you how she was playing, because Grant and Linda wrote down her bets, and I'm going to share them with you today. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you where her bets were and then the rules for this system. You definitely want to stick around for those as well. So let's go ahead and place the bets first. We're going to have $25 on third column. We're going to have $25 on each of these splits in the third column. So let's place those. All right. And now we're going to put $10 on 0, and we're also going to put $10 on all of the corners in the first and second column. Okay, so there's our initial bet, and let's go ahead and spin. And as we go through this, I'm going to share you the rules for how to play and when to increase the bets. But let's go ahead and see what we get here first. That's a 22 black. Okay, so we lost on the first one. This is also a $2,000 bankroll system. You can see we're minus 125, but we're not going to change the bet. So we're just going to spin again. And here we go. That's a 6 black. Okay, that's a $310 win. Now all of a sudden we're up $185 already. Wow. And shoot, some of you would probably cash out right then. So let's keep going. I'm going to share with you the time when you should increase the bets once we get to that, and a bunch of other stuff. So there's a 125 loss. So now we're up 60. Again, we're not changing the bets yet. We're just going to spin again. And there's going to be certain triggers in this for when to increase the bets. And that's a 23 red. That's a 125 loss. So we're minus 65 right now. We're going to stay at that same level. And here we go. That's a 7 red. That's another loss. But we still haven't hit that trigger yet. We're minus 190. And let's spin. Here we go. That's a 22 black. It's another loss. And now we're minus 315. We're still staying with the same bet. And I'll share with you what that first trigger is once we get to it. And that's a 2 black. That's another loss. Okay, so now we've hit the trigger. The first trigger is minus 400. And now we're going to double the bets. And we have plenty of room within that $2,000 bankroll to do so. Let's go ahead and spin now. Here we go. All right, that's a 21 red. And we got a $620 win there. Look at that. So that's incredible. We're back up 180. Now we go back to the original bet, and that's 215. So let's do that. And I think I took one too many off. Let's see where that came from. Right there. Yep. Okay, we're back to the original 215 bet. Again, that's $25 on all those splits in the third column. It's 25 on the third column. It's 10 on all these corners in the first and second column, and then 10 on 0. And there's some other triggers with this as well. Again, we're up $180 right now. We're going to reset and go back to the original amount. And there's a double 0. So that's the worst possible scenario with this, is if you do hit a double 0. But we're going to keep the bet the same because we're only at minus 35. Let's go ahead and spin. And that's the only number that's a total loss, except for the 3. And there's a nice $310 win. We're up $275 now. Except for, actually it is the only total loss because the 36 and the 3 are partially covered with the third column. So I'm going to go over all of that as we go through this as well. We're up $275 now. Let's go ahead and spin. That was a really nice win there. And here we go. That's 11 black. Okay, that's a minus 125. And remember, when you're playing this also, you can cash out at any time. I'm going to play longer today so I can show you all of the elements of the triggers and everything else. But you can play, when you get up a certain amount, if you get up $300 after the first spin, go ahead and cash out if you want. That's fantastic. And we are currently up $25. We're still at the 215 base level, and here we go. Okay, that's a 14 red. Okay, that's a minus 125, so we're minus 100. We're going to keep the bets the same and spin. Here we go. That's a 34 red. Okay, that's a minus 125. We're at minus 225 now. We're going to keep the bet the same and spin. All right, that is a 4 black. It's another loss. We're minus 350. We're going to keep the bet the same. We're at 215 base bet still. Here we go. That's a 9 red. That's a nice $310 win. So we're still at the base bet. We're not increasing. It's $215 for this base bet. I'll go over the initial bets again as we go through this. That is a 28 black. And there's a 125 loss. We're minus 165 right now, but we have a $2,000 bankroll, so we're good to go. And let's see what we get here. That's a 25 red. That's another 125 loss. We're minus 290. Still staying at the $215 base bet. So the first trigger is that $400 to double the bet. But we're not there yet. That was a nice win there. We're up $20. And then I'll cover everything else, all the other rules here pretty soon. And that's a 3 red. Excuse me. And that's a minus 140. So when I was talking earlier about the 3 and the 36, those aren't total losses because of that third column coverage. You only lose 120 on those. So we're still at the 215 base level, and we're spinning again. Here we go. And that's a 28 black. It's another loss. We are at minus 245, but we still haven't hit that first level of having to trigger the bet to increase. That's a 9 red. That's a nice $310 win there. So we're up 65, and let's spin. Here we go. All right, that is a 19 red. That's a 125 loss. And eventually here we're going to go on a nice little run of getting some third column hits, and that's when it's going to be time to cash out. And here we go. That's a 13 black. That's another loss there, though, so we're minus 185. Let's rebet and spin. And this is definitely a system where you're going to find the right time to cash out. That's a 27 red, because it definitely cycles. We just won $310 there. You can see we're back up 125 again. Here pretty soon we're going to get some wins in a row, and you know, that's when it's going to be time to cash out. But there's a 0, and actually with this one you win with the, I'm sorry, it's only a $35 loss with a 0, and we're still up 90, so we're just rebetting. But there is some money on the 0, that $10. So here we go. That is a 30 red. There's a nice $310 win. So now we're up $400. So this would be where a lot of you might say, all right, I'm ready to take the $400 and run, and definitely do that. But we're going to play longer today. I've been telling you guys I'm going to play longer with all these systems to show you what good and bad can happen, and we're going to do that. So that's a minus 125. We're up 275. Let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. That's a double 0, so that's the worst case scenario. That's a total loss. The only number on the board that's a total loss. We're only up 60 now. But we haven't hit that first trigger of 400, so we're staying the same. And then there's going to be another trigger after that if things, you know, if you do have trouble and get further down. And that's why we're going to play longer as well. I want you guys to see everything, and let's go ahead and spin. We're minus 65. Let's see what we get here. That's a 16 red. That's another loss. We are minus 190. So let's go ahead and spin again. We're on the base level still. And here we go. That's 11 black. It's another loss. So we are minus 315. Still staying at the 215 base level. Here we go. That's a 19 red. And just triggered our first double. And we're going to double the bet to 430. We still have plenty in our $2,000 bankroll, and let's spin. Let's see what we get here. That's a 30 red. All right, that's a $620 win. We're up 180 now. Now we go back to the base level, and again, that's that 215. Oh, I took one too many away. There we go. And back at 215. Again, now we're up 180, and let's spin. But we could have cashed out when we were up 400, so remember that. It's definitely is a hit and run system, but we're going to play longer so you can see everything. Also, too, I need to cover like where the next trigger is. So stick around for that, and let's spin. Here we go. I would have loved to have been in that casino with them and seen that. That would have been pretty crazy. And if you guys have any stories that where you guys have seen something like that in a casino, share it in the comments. Not only would I like to hear it, I'm sure a lot of other people would like to hear it as well. Even if it's something different, if you have any cool stories from something crazy you saw in the casino, and there's a $310 win with that 6 black. We're back up 240. That would be awesome if you would share that. And I've seen some crazy stuff myself. Definitely. So that's a 14 red. And minus 125. We're at 115 right now. And we've had lots of moments where we could have cashed out a big winner so far. But like I said, we're going to play longer. I want you guys to see everything. Plus, I'm going to share with you the next trigger point, which is going to be really important. And even if we don't get to it, I will share it with you. So we're up $425. So this is another time when we could cash out if we wanted to. We're still at the base level, 215. And here we go. That's a 2 black. That's a 125 loss. We're up 300. Let's spin at the 215 level still. And here we go. Ooh, that's the worst possible scenario, and we've hit that twice now. Okay, so that put us only up $85, but we're still at the base level because we didn't hit the first threshold of 400 yet. And oh my God, back to back. That is the worst thing ever. So that's our third double 0. So again, that's why I'm playing longer. I want you guys to see that anything's possible when you play roulette, and I'm going to try to show you the good and the bad of every system. There's a 36 red. All right, that's a minus 140 because that's one of those two numbers, the 3 and the 36, that are only covered with the only coverage they have is that $25 that's on the third column. So here we go. That's a 19 red. And that's another loss. So we're not quite to the 400 trigger yet. We're going to stay at the 215 base bet. That's a 30 red. That's a $310 win. So we're only minus 85 now. Let's go ahead and rebet. Still at the base level 215. And that's a 15 black. Okay, that's another 310 win. Nice. We're up 225 now. We're still at the base level of 215. And here we go. That's a 29 black. That's a minus 125. So we're going to rebet. Still at the base level of 215. We've had so many times when we could have cashed out with a lot of money so far. So remember that when you're playing, you don't have to play this long. So we're going to rebet now. We're minus 25. And again, still at the 215 base bet because that $400 trigger is our first trigger. And again, I'm going to share with you the second one here soon. But that's a 140 loss. Again, that's one of those two numbers that is only covered by the $25 on the third column. And here we go. That's a 15 black. That's a nice 310 win. We're up 145. And you can see how this cycles. We're still at the 215 base bet. And it definitely cycles back and forth. Then you just cash out at the right time. There's a nice 310 hit also. We're up 455 now. So this is about the fourth time now we could cash out with around $400 if we wanted to. So remember that. And we're spinning again at 215. That's a 22 black. It's a 125 loss. We're at 330 profit right now. 215 total bet still. Base level. And here we go. That's a 26 black. It's another minus 125. We're up 205. Still at the 215 base bet. And here we go. That's a 32 red. That's another 125 loss. We're up 80. Still at 215 base level. Here we go. Let's see what we get. That's a 28 black. Another loss. 125. We're minus 45. And we're spinning again at 215. Still have our $2,000 bankroll. And that's a 15 black. All right, that's a $310 win. We're up 265 again. So you can see how this is cycling. We're still at the 215 base level bet. That's a 31 black. That's a 125 loss, up 140. All right, still at the 215. Here we go. All right, that's a 31 black. That's a 125 loss. We're up 15. Still at the base level. And here we go. That's a 33 black. That's a nice $310 win. We're up 325 now. Still at base level. Spinning again. And that's a 28 black. That's a 125 loss. We're up 200. And we haven't got anywhere near our $2,000 bankroll yet, which is nice to see. But it's really important that you have it. And that's why, look at that. That's the worst case scenario. Again, that's the fourth double zero we've had. And that is crazy. And that we've had that many double zeros. But anything can happen. We're not at the $400 first trigger. So we stay at the base level and spin again. And that's a 29 black. It's another 125 loss. We're minus 140. And here we go, spinning again at 215. All right, that's a 9 red. That's a nice 310 win. We're up 170, still at the base level, 215. Here we go. That's an 8 black. Okay, that's a 125 loss. We're up 45. Spinning at the base level. Here we go. That's a 24 black. That's a nice $310 win. We're up 355, and probably it's about the 5th or 6th time we could have cashed out with $400 profit or close to. So that's pretty cool that we've had that many chances to cash out with good amounts, and that's a 36 red. And again, that's that 140 loss because that's the only covered with the $25 on the 3rd column. And we're spinning again at base level 215. That's a 13 black, and that is a loss of 125, up 90, and we're spinning again at 215. All right, there's a 9 red. That's a nice $310 win. Now we're up 400 again. That's like the 7th time we could have cashed out with $400, so that's pretty cool. And it's just really cycling back and forth, so anytime you want, you could cash out, but we're going to play longer because that's what I've been telling you guys. I want to show you everything, and I still need to share with you the next trigger point. So we're going to play longer and see what happens. If we don't get to that, I'll share it with you anyway because you'll need to know it. And here we go. That's a 35 black. That's a 125 loss. We're up 150, still at the base level, and let's spin. All right, that's a 23 red. It's another 125 loss. We're up 25. Spinning at base level 215. Here we go. That's a 22 black. It's another 125 loss. We're minus 100. Spinning again at 215 because we're not at that $400 first trigger. And here we go. There's a nice $310 win. We're back up 210, cycling back and forth, spinning at 215 again here. Here we go. That's a 16 red. It's a 125 loss. We're up 85. And we're spinning again. Here we go. And there's a 0. That's a small loss. That won't hurt us too bad. We're up 50. Still spinning at 215 here. Here we go. Okay, that's a 4 black. It's another 125 loss. We're minus 75. Spinning at the base level, 215. Let's see if we can get a win. That's a 30 red. That's a nice $310 win. Back up 235, and we're spinning again at 215. Here we go. That's a 27 red. There we go. There's another 310 win. We're up $545, and at this point we've had over 7 chances to cash out at 400, and now we have a chance to cash out at 545. So remember that. We're going to keep playing longer like I promised, but always remember how many chances that we've had with this to cash out, and that's pretty cool. So there's a 20 black. That's a 125 loss. Up 420. 215 base bet spin. Here we go. That's an 8 black. It's another 125 loss. We're up 295. Spinning at 215. Here we go. See if we can get another win. That's a 12 red. It's a nice $310 win. We're up $605. So now we've had 7 chances to cash out at 400, 1 chance at upper 500s, and now we have a 8th chance to cash out at $605. So that's pretty damn awesome. If I do say so myself, that's pretty cool. There's a 1 red. That's a 125 loss. Let's go ahead and spin again at 215 base level. And that's a 32 red. It's another 125 loss, up 355, spinning at 215. $2,000 bankroll. We haven't even come close to using it, but I'm glad it's there. But that is the 6th double zero. Oh my goodness. That is crazy. And that's the only total loss that we can have with this. We're staying at the base level 215 though, because we haven't reached that $400 first trigger. And there's a 27 red. It's a nice $310 win there. We're back up 450. Spinning again at 215. And that's the base level still. That's a 30 red. That's a nice $310 win. So now we're up $760. So we've had 7 chances to cash out at 400. One chance at 550. One chance at over 600. And now we've got a chance to cash out at $760. So, wow. That's a lot of chances to cash out at a nice level. And even though it's cycling, so that's an 18 red. That's another 310 win. We are up $1,070. And now we could cash out at that as well. Still at the base level. That's a 5 red. It's a minus 125. We're up $945. So, so again, we had 7 chances to cash out at 400. 1 chance to cash out at 550. 1 at 6 something. And then 1 at 750 around there. And then we had a chance to cash out a second ago at 1,000, around 1,050. So, wow, that's incredible. So we're still base level 215. And here we go. That's a 20 black. And there's another loss, 125 loss. We're back to up 820. We're spinning at 215. Don't worry, I'm going to share with you that second trigger here because I know we might not get to it, but things could turn around and we might need to get to it here. So we'll see, but I'll definitely share it with you here before the end of the video. That's a 695, and we're spinning again at 215. So here we go. Oh my God, that's like the 7th double zero. And the other thing that's crazy is with 7 double zeros, which is the absolute worst thing, we still had all those chances to cash out. But look what that did to our profit. We're only up 480 now. We're still at the base level though, but that's a lot of double zeros. And I think we had 1 or 2 zeros. So there's a nice $310 win. We're up 790. Let's go ahead and spin again. Here we go. That's a 4 black. That's a 125 loss. We're down to 665 now. We're at 215 base level. Here we go. That's an 18 red. That's a nice $310 win. We're up 975. Still at the base level 215. And here we go. That's an 8 black. I believe that's a loss. And that's a 125 loss. We're at up 850 right now. So we're betting again at 215 base level. And here we go. That's a 7 red. It's another $125 loss. We're up 725. Spinning again at base level 215. Here we go. That's a 34 red. It's another $125 loss. We're up 600. Let's spin again. And that is a 6 black. That's a nice $310 win. We're up $910 again. Let's spin again at 215. Maybe they're right about this lady getting kicked out of the casino. This is doing pretty darn well. Obviously it cycles a lot though. But there's a 125 loss. We're up 785. And but they said it definitely happened. So I believe them, and most casinos wouldn't do that, but that's a pretty crazy story. We're up 660, and we're spinning at 215. Here we go. That's an 8 black. Things are starting to turn the other way. That's a 125 loss. We're only up 535 now. Still betting at 215 base level because, again, that first trigger is minus 400. There's a 35 black. That is another loss. So getting lots of losses now. We're only up 410. Spinning at the base level 215. And here we go. There's a 9 red. I believe that's a win. There's a nice $310 win. That gets us back up to 720. Spinning again, still at 215 base level. And again, when we get to minus 400 with this, we double the bet. We are up 595 even after that loss. And let's spin again at 215 base level. That's a 19 red. That's another 125 loss. We're only up 470 now. Spinning again at 215. All right, that's a 12 red. Okay, that's a nice $310 win. We're back up to 780. And, you know, this cycles a lot, and eventually you're going to hit some third columns in a row. That's when it's time to cash out, and that's an 18 red there. There's another one. There's 2 in a row. We're up to 1,090. So at this point, we've had 7 or 8 chances at 400 to cash out, a chance at 550 to cash out, a chance at 650, one at 750, one at 9. We've had 2 chances to cash out around $1,100, which is one of them right here. That is incredible. So that's a lot of chances to cash out with a lot of money. And man, this is doing fantastic. But it definitely cycles, so don't forget that part of it. There's a 20 black. There's a 125 loss. We're up 965 now, but I promised you guys I was going to keep playing these systems longer so you could see the good and the bad with both. And hopefully you're seeing that today. But there's another nice $310 win. We're up 1,275. So we've had all those chances at 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 2 chances at 1,100. Now we have a chance to cash out at 1,275. We're going to keep playing. And just remember that if you're playing, don't keep playing. Cash out when you're up that much. This is a 31 black. I'm just playing longer so you guys can see as big of a sample size as possible. We just lost that one. We're at the 215 base level again. Still where we were at. There's another loss with an 8 black. And remember too, if you're playing, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to be playing the longer session for you guys. But if you have a couple, 2, 3 losses in a row that are big, and don't try to get it all back if you're up a ton. Just take the money and run. So we're up 900 now, and we're spinning at 215. Here we go. That's a 3 red. That's a 140 loss. That's one of those 2 numbers that is only covered by the $25 on the third column. We've hit those 4 or 5 times tonight or today, and that's a 6 black. That's a $310 win. We're up 1,070 again, so already another chance to cash out over 1,000. We've had over 3 chances to cash out over 1,000. There's a 1 red. And that's a loss, 125, up $945. And here we go. Okay, that's another loss at 125. We're up 820. Let's spin. And here we go. That's a 28 black. That's another loss at 125. We're up 695 now. Spinning away. Here we go. That's a 17 black. And like I said, if you're playing like this and you're up a lot, you start having consecutive losses like this, and you start feeling like it's time to cash out, just go ahead and cash out. Who cares that you were up, 500 more a little bit ago? It doesn't change the fact that you're still up 500 and some dollars. So just leave with the money if you get that kind of a feeling. We're still at the base level 215. Again, I'm going to play longer because that's what I promised you guys, that I would start playing longer and start showing you guys more of a larger sample size of these systems. And I hope you appreciate it because I've got a lot of good comments about it, and hope that you're seeing different sides of each one of these systems. There's another loss. You can see we're getting lots of losses now. That was a 125 loss. We're still at the base level 215 because we haven't reached the $400 loss level, which is our first trigger. See, now we've had multiple losses in a row. That's another 125 loss. We're only up 180 now. And again, this is why I'm playing so long. I want you guys to see what can happen if things go south. So let's do that. You can see that's a lot of losses in a row now. We're only up 55, but we're up 1,200. So here we go. That's an 8 black. We haven't had a win in a while. That's a lot of losses in a row. We're minus 70. You guys might get to see that new second trigger. I'm going to share it with you, but I didn't think I'd be showing it to you here because we were up so much. But I want you guys to see everything, and we haven't won in a long time. We're minus 195. We're spinning away. We had lots of chances to cash out over 1,200. So remember that. There's a 25 red. And there's another loss. That's a lot of losses in a row. We're not at the 400 trigger yet. We're still at the 215 base level. Here we go. That's a 16 red. That's another loss. We haven't, the last time we won one was, let's check here. Looks like 317. It's been so long since we've won one that there's not even a winning number on the left side of the screen. So, so I told you I was going to play long enough to get these triggers and have something show you both sides. So it's time to double the bets because we hit the $400 trigger. Now we're at 430. You can see we're minus 445. Let's go ahead and spin. That's a 25 red. And that's a minus 250 there. So we're staying at that level. We're minus 695. But again, we still have our $2,000 bankroll. Okay, that's 11 black. And that's another minus 250. So now we only have the 945 left. And now we just hit the second trigger. So you can see that last bet was 430, and now we have to kind of go all in if we get really bad. We're not going to go completely in, but if we, you can see our last bet was at 430. That means our next bet we're going to double, and here we go. Okay, so let's spin. Let's see if we can get a win. And that trigger was at 800, by the way. That's a 29 black. And that's a $500 loss. And at this point, we only have 550 left. So we have to go back to the one before this, which was 430. So let's do that. And make sure these are right. Okay, so, okay, we're at 430 now. Let's go ahead and spin. We need to get a win. That's a 17 black. And that's another loss. So now we only have $300 left. We would have to go back to that and spin. And this is why I'm playing long. This system worked fantastic for a long time. But there's a 25 red. And now we only have $95 left. So it doesn't look like we're going to win because I played too long. So that's a really good, yeah, we don't even have enough to place another bet now. So basically then we would lose our bankroll. But just think how many chances we had to win and run with the money. We had over 8 chances at $500 profit. I mean at $400 profit. We had a couple at 5, couple at 6, couple at 7, couple at 900. We had 3 chances to cash out at 1100. We had a chance to cash out at almost 1300 at 12 something. So we had a million chances to cash out. And like I told you guys before, if I was playing I would have cashed out at any of those times over $500. However, I promised you guys that I would keep playing until you could see the bad with the good, so that you know what it is roulette, and no system is completely that it can't lose ever. If there's really bad numbers, anything will lose, so always remember that. But this system performed fantastic for a long time, and I hope you guys realize that. There's not very many systems that would have given you that many chances to cash out with tons of profit. So again, I hope you're enjoying the fact that I'm playing longer and showing you the good and the bad of every system. I tell you what, this system worked fantastic for a long time. So I'm going to go ahead and place the bets one more time just so you guys can see them again. Again, it was $25 on third column. It was $25 on each of these splits here, because I really enjoyed playing this, and man, we had really good success for a long time. And but you want to get in and get out with systems like this. So then we had $10 on each of these corner bets. So we had the 25s on top, the 10s on the corner bets, and then we had the 10 on the 0, and then make sure that's right. Back that up there, and that was pretty much the bet there. So 25 on the third column, 25 on each of the splits, 10 on the 0, and 10 on those corners. So just wanted to put those out there again so that you guys could see the bets again. And remember, the triggers were 400 and 800. When you got down 400 or 800, you doubled. And we went a long time when that wasn't necessary, though. And I hope you really enjoyed today's video. And let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Also, let me know if you guys have seen some crazy stuff in the casino, like they just saw with this lady getting kicked out. That's pretty nuts. So again, also too, please subscribe to the channel, but do it for yourself, guys. I think you'll really enjoy this community. You'll enjoy talking back and forth in the comments, and there's a lot of smart people in this community that can really help you. And I like to help you guys as well. So send me comments every day. I love seeing your guys' feedback, and but subscribe for you guys. I think you'll get a lot out of it, and I really appreciate everyone's support as well. So this is the Roulette Master, and have a great day, everybody.